10 things you need to make sure your offer does if you want it to sell. My name is Julie. I'm one of the co-founders of Funnel Gorgeous, and in this video today, I'm gonna help you with the 10 things that you absolutely must make your offer do if you want it to sell. And when I mean sell, I don't mean sell 10, 20, 30 units. I mean sell hundreds to thousands of units, make hundreds to thousands of dollars. Okay? So number one, in order to sell a lot, you need something specific, okay? It needs to be specific, not vague in general and like, what is that? It needs to be laser focused on the problem that you are solving. The more specific, the better. Number two, it needs to be tangible. Now, in this world, we're talking a lot about digital goods, and digital goods aren't tangible. So it's hard sometimes to sell information or even the curation of information. So it needs to be very concrete. Some ways to do this. Let's say, for example, you're selling personal development, okay? That's hard, it's vague, it's esoteric, right? But if you have a habit tracker or you have tangible assets that they get in that product that help them have the evidence of whatever it is you're teaching in personal development, it's going to do better. Number three, it needs to be repelling. And what this means is it needs to actively repel the wrong people. When you're specific and when you're tangible, it's so obvious when a product isn't right for the customer. If you don't do that, then what happens is the message gets muddy and then people aren't sure, is this for me or not? Versus something that's very targeted. Now I'm reading it and I'm going, oh my gosh, that is totally for me. Number four, it has to be proprietary. What does proprietary mean? It just means unique. There's something about the product that's different than what else is out there. And obviously, we can't reinvent the wheel. If you're selling a health offer, there's only so many ways to lose weight, right? But there's something about the way you deliver it, maybe a particular shortcut, a particular style, maybe you mash up health with something else, that makes it proprietary and unique. Number five, it has to be aspirational. Aspirational means the product you're selling is solving a problem that people want to solve. A lot of times we sell things and we're like, oh, this is totally an issue. This is totally something they need. And maybe it is, but the branding and the messaging just doesn't make sense. And it's not aspirational, and then people don't buy. Here's an example. Let's say you're a web designer and you're selling websites, right? And you're telling people about your offer and they're going to get an XML sitemap and they're going to get security plugins and backups, and nobody cares. It is the opposite of aspirational. But if you sell a working, converting website that's going to draw customers in within 30 days, that is aspirational. It may still have all the same things that you talked about, but you've positioned it differently. Number six, an easy to remember domain. Okay? This means fall out of your mouth easy domain. Why? Even though we all can just click links around the internet, sometimes when you're listening to a podcast, the person listening, they'll have to go type the link in, or they'll hear it somewhere in a group or on a call, and they have to remember it, and they're like, oh, let me go to that. So for example, our course, OfferCure, it's at offercure.com. It makes it super easy for it to spread like a virus, right? But if you have something that's complicated, that doesn't have an easy domain, it's less likely to get that momentum and that traction. Number seven, there has to be a need. And what I mean by this is that your customer needs your product in order to continue. So again, an example, let's say you are selling email, right? You're teaching people how to write emails. If someone is doing a cold email campaign, they need a script in order to act. They need a good script that's going to convert. Okay, so that's a need product versus like, maybe you're selling a checklist or some organizational tool. Yeah, it's nice to have, but is it really needed? And it's not to say that the nice to haves don't sell, because they do, but you want to stick something in there, some bonus, some extra that is a need-based, so that it really activates that I can't move forward without this thing. Oh my gosh, look at my terrible handwriting. Priced well. This is number 8. This means that whatever it costs to solve that problem in the traditional sense, if they use your product, they're going to get a similar solution or better for less price. You nail that right and you will be selling all the live long day. Number 9, It has to create a shortcut. The offer has to compress time in some way, shape, or form so that they feel like they're getting to the benefit faster than if they did it without the product. And number 10, you need to be able to market it. And what I mean by this is you need to be excited about producing content, TikToks, Instagram, writing blog posts, talking on summits and podcasts. You need to easily be able to market and sell this in order for it to work. So as a quick recap, it needs to be specific, it needs to be tangible, it needs to be repelling, it needs to be proprietary, aspirational, it needs to be an easy to remember domain and name, it needs to be something your customer has to have in order to move forward. It needs to be priced well in such a way the traditional method of getting the result is more expensive than what they would pay. It needs to compress time and create a shortcut, and most importantly, it needs to be able to be talked about and marketed. These are the 10 things that you need. If you hit all 10, I promise you, you are going to sell that product for a long time to come. Talk soon.